Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin is on a landmark visit to India. He will be arriving today and has a power-packed schedule. Putin will be attending the 21st India-Russia annual summit with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, the summit could not take place in 2020 due to COVID-19 restrictions. Ahead of Putin's bilateral meet, a first 2+2 dialogue will be held in the national capital between Russia and India. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh will hold talks with his counterpart, Sergei Shoigu. And External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar meets his counterpart, Sergei Lavrov. Now, both countries have signed a landmark deal to manufacture over 1 lakh AK-203 assault rifles that will be manufactured in Amethi. Both nations also agreed to expand cooperation in key areas of defense, trade, as well as investment. Meanwhile, Putin is likely to gift S-400 air missile defense system to a system model there to Modi during his visit this time. Remember, Russia has already begun delivering the lethal air defense system to India.
Our meeting gives us a suitable platform to discuss politico-military issues of mutual interest that are interrelated and cross-cutting. Our discussions today will address the emergence of multipolarity and rebalancing. We look too at the consequences of over-centralized globalization. The COVID-19 pandemic has raised questions about the current model of global affairs, but the long-standing challenges remain even as new ones emerge. Prominent among them are terrorism, violent extremism, and radicalization. The situation in Afghanistan has wider repercussions, including for Central Asia. West Asia or the Middle East continues to present hotspots. Maritime security and safety is another domain of shared concern. We both have a common interest in ASEAN centrality and ASEAN-driven platforms. All in all, there is much to discuss today. I look forward to an open exchange of views that would further strengthen our special and privileged strategic partnership.
I am glad that despite all these challenges, India-Russia defense engagements progressed in an unprecedented manner in recent times. I have had the honor of visiting Moscow twice and Dushanbe once to participate in the celebrations for victory in the Great Patriotic War and in 2 rounds of SCO defense ministers meeting. Our officers and troops not only marched shoulder to shoulder with the Russian troops in honor of these fallen in Second World War, but also participated in a substantial manner in major exercises and activities undertaken at Russia's initiatives.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on a power-packed visit to India. India's Purana Dost on a milestone visit. Namo and Putin push dosti and diplomacy. The world watches Putin-Modi handshakes and hugs. Putin is on a landmark visit to India, attending the 21st annual India-Russia summit with Prime Minister Modi, which is taking place after 2019 due to the COVID pandemic. It's also the first in-person meet other than the BRICS summit in Brazil in 2019.
This is a first physical contact after a comparatively long pause since 2019. And as a matter of fact, this is the first foreign trip by the president of the Russian Federation, which would testify to the importance of our bilateral relationship, to its exclusive nature.
Signing the deal to manufacture AK-203 Kalashnikov assault rifles for the Indian Army remains the highlight of Putin's visit. Over 6 lakh AK-203 rifles will be manufactured under the Make in India initiative. The first 70,000 units will include Russia-made components as technology transfer, and after 32 months, the manufacturing will begin in UP's Amethi. The Russian president is also likely to gift Modi a model of the S-400 air defense system, whose delivery has already begun.
This contract is really a matter of our pride, which would testify to the very special strategic nature of our relationship, despite of any kind of pressure or sanctions. This is true about Russia, and this is true, and this is true about India.
Putin's India visit assumes significance as the Russian president will try to reset their relationship amid a series of recent differences ranging from AFPAC to the Indo-Pacific.
Afghanistan is a matter of our common concern. The two leaders and the two sides would revive their commitment to peaceful and secure Afghanistan, fighting terror and drug trafficking, securing Afghanistan as a predictable place friendly to its neighbors, extending humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan.
Putin's visit is all about further cementing the ties of its old all-weather friend India. Both countries are expected to sign several bilateral agreements in key areas. Putin's visit is all about keeping an old romance alive between Moscow and New Delhi. With Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let me quickly cut across with Geeta Mohan, joining us live for more on that. Geeta, as we inch closer to the landmark meet between Putin and Prime Minister Modi, we see that S. Jaishankar, Foreign Affairs Minister, has already set the tone. A deal has been inked between Russia and India for the AK-203 rifles, 1 lakh rifles to be manufactured in India's UP Amethi. Take us through what more is in store.
Well, there are layers of significance when it comes to this deal. One, the renewal of the Defence Pact, a 10-year agreement between India and Russia, is a very significant one. And the second being the Kalashnikovs. Now, we all know in India's fight against terrorism and insurgency how important the Kalashnikovs have really been. To have co-production and co-development, which is what Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister, as also Foreign Minister Jaishankar said, clearly shows the kind of enhancement of strategic and defense ties between the two countries. We're going to see a lot more announcements. The ambassador of Russia to India, Ambassador Nikolai Kudashev, in an exclusive conversation to us, said that the joint statement is going to be substantive. It's going to be a very strong one and will really take forward and show the way in terms of how India and Russia are going to move forward. So there are important and key agreements that are going to be signed under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi and President Putin, wherein in the sectors of science and technology, space exploration, trade and defense cooperation. We've already seen that begun with the defense agreements that have been inked, be it the factory in Amethi or, for that matter, renewal of the 10-year defense pact between India and Russia. At 5:30 p.m. is when we'll see the arrival of President Putin into Hyderabad House, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Putin will hold delegation-level talks. But we're given to understand that there's going to be restricted dialogue and a one-on-one between the two leaders as well. So it is a very significant one, comes after 2 years, an in-person meeting between the leaders. And certainly the niggling issues of the Indo-Pacific, Asia-Pacific, what to call it, but the real area of convergence in terms of ensuring peace and stability, that remains. Afghanistan, regional security and fight against terrorism also are going to top the agenda.
Right. Thank you very much, Geeta, for joining us with those details. Let me quickly cut across to Akshita there, who shed some light on key India-Russia defense projects. Let's have a listen.
One of the sectors that will be focused on the most is defense in the talks between India and Russia. Let's run you through the projects that India and Russia could tie up on. First is the S-400 Triumph, the air defense missile system. That deal has already come through. Deliveries have also begun. The value of this deal is $5.5 billion. There will be a model of this that Putin will also hand over to Prime Minister Modi today. Now also the AK-203 assault rifles. This is the most talked about defense project right now. It comes under the Make in India initiative, and India and Russia will co-manufacture these rifles. Over 6 lakh of them will be manufactured here in Uttar Pradesh. The value of this deal is $700 million. The talks have been done. The official signing of the deal will happen today. Besides that, some other defense projects that have been talked about a lot is the Ka-206 Sargai, which is the 200 Make in India
India helicopters. The value of this is pitted to be about $1 billion. It's still uncertain right now. Talks are happening, but we'll have to see if there's any sort of breakthrough that really happens in today's dialogue. Now, another project is the MiG-29 fighters, which is 21 more upgraded jets. The value of this isn't known right now. Negotiations are underway. Again, there'll be a lot of focus on this project to see if there will be talks that happen on this today and whether there's any breakthrough. And finally, you have the Sparta SDM-1, which are light mountain tanks. It's not known right now as to exactly what its value is. This is an offer that's come from Russia, something India has yet to take up Russia on. Perhaps there will be a talk about this as well when there is a detailed discussion on the defense sector and ties between India and Russia on this front.